Hello, Nav. This is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best and jolly good sports talk and entertainment for the Giants. Here from England. And of course, that is probably the worst English accents, besides Dom's, that you'll ever hear. This is Tim. This is Online Big Blue Sports, bringing you the UK version or edition of Online Big Blue, talking Giants, getting ready for the big game against the Packers in the UK and Tottenham Stadium. Daniel Jones, of course, now they're saying is showing positive signs that Daniel Jones will be playing against the Packers. He's feeling a lot better, and the Giants' optimism is growing. And that's a good thing because, you know what, as much as I do not believe in Daniel Jones as the starting quarterback for the New York Football Giants, I believe even less in Davis Webb to fill that role as well. We'll get a better idea of the injury reports on Friday, so we'll get a better understanding. We'll get a better feel about what's going to happen and what the Giants are thinking right now. We have to talk about something real quick though. I want to talk about Nick Gates. Nick Gates makes his return to, or I should say, long road return to the Giants. The 26-year-old center, he used to be a guard. He came back from that. Is coming back from that horrific leg injury. Now Dable wasn't around for Gates, so I find it interesting that they really held on to him, during this new regime, and he hasn't played a practice since September of 2021. He fractured his fibula and tibula in his left leg. I guess it was I forget. That's right. It was in the Washington game. He's been on the injured reserve since then. He can practice up to now 21 days, where the Giants must decide if they want to activate him or they can put him back on the PUP for the remainder of the season. You got to hope that they're going to, you hope that for his sake that he is getting the best medical advice available. It was a horrific injury. You think of Alex Smith. You think of not only his playing career, but you think of the longevity of his life and what it's going to be like if he continues to play on that leg. So you hope he's getting the best medical advice and the best medical advice for himself that's available to him, because the worst thing to do is, I'm going to tell you this, is to be 50 years old and have extremely bad knee, who had 2 ACL surgeries on and 1 ACL replacement. Then, if I, it's one of those things, if I would have known what I know, if at 20, if I would know what I'm going to know now at 50, I probably would not have tried to come back and play that after that first ACL. That's just me though, because you know what, you have to live with your decisions after things happen. So that's the best thing. But it's good to see him on the field. He had an emotional return. I'm like I said, as an athlete, you always think you have one more season in you. You always think you have one more play in you. You always think there's that chance you have one more moment in the sun. And sometimes it's just false hope, but you always feel like there's that chance. And like I said, I just have my fingers crossed that he is getting the best advice available to him in reference to this situation. Going through the Giants injury report a little bit, Leonard Williams and Kadarius Toney both returned to practice on Thursday. People that did not practice, on Wednesday. People that did not practice on Wednesday was Kenny G, of course, Tyrod Taylor, Julian Love, Cordell Flott, Azeez Ojulari, Richie James Jr. with the ankle. People that were limited in practice were Daniel Jones, Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson, Leonard Williams, Evan Neal, Fabian Monroe, and Nick McLeod. So we're going to get a better idea on Friday what the injury report's going to look like. We're going to see what the statuses are. You'll get even more information on Saturday. The Giants, of course, are leaving today to fly across to the pond in the Dahmer land at that point in time. So it's going to be interesting to see who they bring in, who they bring up, what the wide receiver situation is going to look like, if we're finally going to get any time of extended view of both Wan'Dale Robinson and Kadarius Toney. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I find it another thing that I find interesting is Sterling Shepard came out and kind of revealed or what he thought. What happened with his leg. So I mean, it's you knew something happened, and he just talks about the fact that it is what it is. This is not going to keep him down. That he is going to move forward. So I'm going to go fight. I'm going to fight to get my body back where I can perform and get things good. He's in the final year in his contract, though, so it's pretty much, he's pretty much out for the Giants. He says, I'm a fighter, so I want to go out on my team, on my terms. Excuse me. He says, I'm a fighter, I want to go out on my terms, which was his first public statement that he said a couple days ago. I don't want something like this to make me go out, so I'm going to fight to get my body back to where I can perform at good and get to this good thing, and get this good thing. I don't understand what that means, but again, this is another guy. You hope that he has had multitudes of injuries. It's not uncommon for someone to tear an ACL and then to have an Achilles injury and then have an ACL injury. It's also not uncommon for someone coming back from an ACL injury to then all of a sudden have an Achilles injury. And especially, it's just one of those things, man. Sometimes you favor anyone that's had major surgery like I've had. Sometimes you favor the leg. And you don't know you're doing it. You have no doubt. You have no thought process that you're actually favoring the leg as much as you are. And then you're putting more stress on not only the other leg, but other ligaments and joints in the leg that you're favoring. It doesn't do you any good. So, like I said, again, we have to hope. We have to hope that that again he's getting the best medical advice available. The Packers are going to be a tough out. And that's it's an away game basically for both teams. You're going to have probably we're going to have a stream on Friday with some gentlemen from the UK at 4 p.m. So we're going to talk about what the pulse is, what the vibe is in reference to what team will have more of the home field advantage. But it's one of those things that it's going to be a tough out. It's going to be a tough test. It's going to be like the Dallas game. That's going to be the issue. It's going to be, can we beat a good team? Now, the Packers are having some issues, and we're going to talk about those issues on Friday. But, there's certain things that the Giants need to do to, just to continue the streak. And basically, if you want to keep playing well, you got to just keep feeding Saquon the rock. He has 463 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. He's averaging 115 a game at 5.5 yards an attempt. He had, like I said, you just got to keep feeding it to him. Just keep giving him the ball repeatedly over and over again. I mean, I've said it a million times. Run, run, run. Don't even think about throwing. I've said it before. I said it on the stream the other day. Just get a coat rack with a helmet on it and just let that coat rack hand the ball to Saquon Barkley or Matt or Brightwell or whomever. Make them stop the run. Because right now the Giants rank 28th in completions and tied to the second lowest passing touchdowns with a total of 3 in the league. There is some flaws in the passing game. Now we're going to talk about this. If you are an OGR member, bonus clip. Stay tuned for after this video because there will be a bonus clip. And we're going to talk about the quarterback situation a little bit. But like I said, you can only so much blame repeatedly the line, the wide receivers and everything else. At some point in time, you got to let the peacock fly. You got to air out the ball. And I find it interesting that 2 regimes now have basically gone ultra conservative with Daniel Jones as their quarterback. And I think that should tell you something. But this is a game that whomever the quarterback is against this Packer team. You can't keep me cooped up in here, okay? I am a peacock. You got to let me fly. You got to let the peacock fly. You just have to. Now, one of the other issues that we're going to need to worry about is stopping the run. They actually have a really good running back in Green Bay. So stopping the run is going to be something that's going to be paramount. And that's probably why we picked up A.J. Klein. That's basically why we also got Jalen Smith. You have Tay Crowder and our old buddy, I don't even want to say his name because I'm not going to. They're basically turnstiles when you get into the second level. Tay Crowder played better last week, but he's been horrid the other 3 weeks. He said, if you go by Pro Football Focus, he's at like a 28.9% rating. He's been horrid. That's why you went out and got Jalen Smith. That's why we got A.J. Klein. So we have to maintain the second level. And having both Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon and what's his name? And Dobson is in there too. He's in his third game back from the ACL. They could rack up some serious yardage on this Giant defense if we don't. There has been enough push in the in the first level in reference to Dexter Lawrence and DJ Davidson. The problem is they are getting the push in the first level, they're slow. This is why Blake Martinez was so vital to this team, because again, you flow like water through the vines. They slow you down in the first level. And in the second level, you are supposed to mop up within a yard or two off the line. We're not doing that. We're mopping up 6, 7 yards after the initial contact. That's not a way to win football games. That's just not a way to do it. That's why we're going for these linebackers. We're going to do a better breakdown. We're going to do a complete breakdown of the Packers game, probably on Saturday. Like I said, we'll have a live stream at 4 p.m. on Friday, talking everything from some gentlemen, from some gents from the UK. It's going to be mental. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. I've said it a million times before. There's only one person who has a worse, excuse me, I can't even talk today, who has a worse British accent than I do. And that's the Dahmer. So right now, folks, we are going to close out this show. Again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And if you're an OG member, you know what time it is.